Great control by Ernie Tapai.
Still Ernie Tapai. It's a goal! It is a goal!
And Kadim's got there and he's turned the defence. There's his foul! Super stuff!
Welcome to the Toa Payoh Stadium, home of the Balestier Central Football Club Tigers. This is the match coming to you live on Premier 12, and they are playing tonight the table toppers, the SAF Warriors. The match is about to begin with the SAF in the all-blue strip. This is the Balestier Central lineup, and the tussle tonight will be focused on the two top scorers undoubtedly. Goran Palic wearing the number 9 for Balestier Central. And this is the SAF lineup. And like I mentioned, missing still Goran Grubasic, who is so strong in the middle of defense, but they haven't been doing too badly without him in the last couple of games. And time to bring in my co-commentator, Jamie Reeves.
Well, it certainly looks well set for a good game this evening. The pitch is in great condition. There's a little bit of wet on it after a shower. That should give it a little bit more pace. There's a good crowd in, and Balestier must win this evening to retain any chance of winning the title.
This is Abdul Wafi with the early cross, which goes astray, so it's the first goal kick of the match to the SAF. Just to carry on what I was saying, the second match played on the 28th of May at this stadium ended up in a 4-2 away victory for the SAF. As the crowd try to cheer the teams on, we've got some good atmosphere in the stadium. We've said that many times in several matches, and we've ended up having or seeing poor games being played. Hopefully that will not happen tonight. Manab Hamad, who is back, one of the 5 who missed out in the last match against Tiong Bahru. That was a 3-0 loss at the Queenstown Stadium on Tuesday, 4 nights ago. So obviously Balestier back to full strength. The SAF also at full strength, with the exception of the missing Grubasic. This is Velima Krayan. Stephen Chan back to Krayan. Krayan making a good run. He loves to make those solo runs, and he's brought down by Siva Kumar and Abdul Wafi. Sandwich between the two Balestier players, so it's going to be a free kick to the Warriors. You're looking at Velima Krayan, who has just been fouled. He's taken the free kick very quickly to Ivica Ragus. Ragus, who's going to be doing a lot of running, very much involved in every game he plays, always wanting the ball. Still Ragus down the right flank. Crossing, and Abdul Malik not very sure with his touch. Nathaniel Napla clearing the ball, but Abdul Malik being fouled in the process. Yuri Aresh and Selvaraj now helping him up, or wanting to help him up. Both of them played here at this stadium. This is Abdul Wafi crossing in towards Sedic. Sedic will, well, I think Polic was expecting Sedic to head it down for him. And the nod of the head perhaps indicates that. But Sedic going for the attempt at goal instead, and it's come to nothing with a goal kick to the Warriors.
We saw again there the Balestier attack tends to favour pumping long balls into the box. They've got the 3 big lads, the Croatians up front. Sedic probably should have gone back across goal there. But certainly Goran Palic will be the biggest danger in the air. Manab Hamad winning the header, but unfairly. Pushing Erej in the process, so it's a free kick to the SAF Warriors, which will be taken by Ivica Ragus. Both these teams being coached by locals. Robin Chan, of course, for Balestier, and Vincent Subramaniam for the SAF. And both doing very well. 1st and 3rd respectively at the moment in the Pioneer Series. And of course in the Tiger Beer Series they finished 3rd and 4th respectively. Balestier and then the SAF in the Tiger Beer Series. Ragus trying to get the ball through to Yuri Eresh. He's cut off by Siva Kumar. Zulkifli Karayoho with the Azali Nasuran rather with the long ball forward. Picked up nicely now by Richard Bock. Richard Bock to Velima Krayan. Krayan down the line for Selvaraj, who's watched very closely by Nathaniel Napla. And Selvaraj has been pulled up now for the challenge from behind on Napla. So it's going to be a free kick once again for Balestier. Looks like Ballister are playing man for man at the back there. Napla will mark Selvaraj and Manap Hamat will mark Ere Uresh.
Koljevic puts some magic down the right side for Balestier. Held onto the ball just a little too long, and he's dispossessed finally by the skipper of the SCF side, Harry Swap. Harry, who's doing a good job as a sweeper out the back for the SCF, and certainly fancies his chances of a call-up to the national squad eventually. Of course, this man does an excellent job for Balestier each time he plays, Lyubov Boguchanin, who also missed the last match against Tiong Bahru 4 nights ago. Ryan. He's got Abdul Wafi in front of him to get past first, plays a good ball down the line now. And the cross, a poor one, cleared away by Hazali Nasaron, but unfortunately straight to an SAF player, Stephen Chan. And finally the ball with Abdul Malik in goal for Balestier. So the team still trying to find their feet on a very wet and slippery surface. But that might add to the excitement with some mistakes being made, especially as the game wears on. Abdul Malik towards Goran Paulic. This is Paulic now in possession for Balestier. Zulkifli Karayoho. Zulkifli has Azali Nasaron right down on the left, but he uses Manap Hamat instead. Manap towards Sivakumar, who's made a good run. And unfortunately, Sivakumar taking the shot at goal, but getting under the ball once again, and the ball going over. Perhaps the ball just took a bit of an unkind bobble as he took the shot. We're looking at the Balestier bench with Andrew Yap, extreme left, Robin Chan, and Mr. Tan Kim Huat, one of the team managers. The other manager being Mr. S. Thanavesen. I beg your pardon. Harry Swap then with the goal kick for the SAF. Nathaniel Natla with the clearance. Abdul Wafi will try to keep this ball in, and he does well, but he only gets it as far as Richard Bock. Stephen Chan out to Ivica Ragus, now in possession, being brought down by Sivakumar, and Sivakumar is going to get a talking to at least from the referee, Mr. Sanpan. Well, he walks away, Sivakumar, but he's being called to the referee once again, and I don't think it's going to be a booking, just a talking to first time around, but he's got to be careful now because he's obviously attracted the referee's unkind attention. Ragus then with the free kick down to Imran Mohammed. Imran has Azali Nasaron to get past, plays the ball back to Ragus. Ragus making himself available once again. Again is Sivakumar who confronts Ragus. Ragus with the cross towards Yuri Aresh, cut out nicely by Manap Hamat. And finally Manap once again with another clearance, but it goes to Zulkifli Jumadi. Selvaraj now, handball, was it? It's a free kick to Balestier. Quickly taken by Nathaniel Natla to Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi, who has improved tremendously as the league has worn on. Sivakumar to Koljevic. Things very tight in midfield at the moment. Players not being given time on the ball. This is Willem Cryan now for the SAF. Still Cryan. Finally, he passes the ball to Ivica Ragus. Ragus in one of his forward runs, but he's been cut off nicely by Sivakumar, and this is Abdul Wafi now searching out Esad Sedic, just a little too hard and long. Sedic unable to control the ball, and he's certainly not a player who will chase after a loose ball. Esad Sedic likes the ball played accurately to him. Willem Cryan for the SAF gets past two players. And finally, it's Nathaniel Napla to come away for Balestier. Balestier have four players forward. This is Abdul Wafi now in possession. Koljevic. Good turn from Koljevic. He's got to get past it, Richard Bock. And finally the cross, which the linesman deems went out after Effendi Sabtu touched or handled the ball. So it's going to be a corner to Balestier.
Yes, a little bit more thoughtful, the Ballister build-up there. A nice ball into the box by Kraljevic. And they're fairly young, some of the defenders for SAF, and a player of Kraljevic's experience may be able to expose them a little there.
So it's Abdul Wafi then with the corner for the Tigers. Well, it's a poor corner because it didn't reach any of his teammates. This is Yuri Erez coming to help out in defense, playing the ball nicely back to Richard Bock. Richard Bock with a poor clearance, only as far as Litvo Boguchanin. Boguchanin to Abdul Wafi to Kraljevic. Kraljevic, as usual, very much involved in the early proceedings. Stephen Chan with the dispossession job. Selvaraj. Still Selvaraj for the SAF. He's got to release the ball now, finally does, to Ivica Ragus. Played the ball a bit short and Ragus had to make some ground to get to it. Yuri Erez. Ragus once again. That's a good ball towards Selvaraj. Selvaraj unable to control it. The ball was just bouncing a little too high for him. And control just a little difficult in these conditions. Finally, it's a poor ball out of defense, so it's going to be a throw into the SAF once again. Scoreless at the Toa Payoh Stadium between Balestier Central and SAF. We've had 15 minutes of the game gone by. With a throw in from Davo Mioch to Harry Swap. This is Mioch once again, got booked in the match against Woodlands last Saturday. Mioch. Brian. Stephen Chan. Ivica Ragus. Again, Sivakuma is facing Ragus. Ragus uses Imran Mohammed. Imran being fouled, trying to get past Hazali Nasiron. So it's going to be a free kick for the SAF once again.
And Imran there just taking his man on. Obviously he's learning that from the Croatians in midfield. A lot of these young SAF players are learning from players like Yuri Erez. Sean Selvaraj has a great deal to learn about how to lead the line from these fellas.
Willem Aquine then with the free kick for the Warriors. It's a good one, but too direct at Abdul Malik in goal, but it had a lot of power, a lot of venom in it. And it was a decent free kick from Willem Aquine. But you would have to do much better to beat this man in goal for Balestier, who's been in such good form for the Tigers. Well, in the match between Tampines Rovers and Geylang United being played at the Tampines Stadium, the score there is 1-1 at the moment. So 2 early goals in that match. We still await the first goal here at the Toa Payoh Stadium. Kraljevic. Cross coming in from Hazali Nasiron. Zulkifli Karayo challenging. Fenrir Napla missing, and it's a nice header back from Yuri Erez to V. Selvaraj. Erez making a good run down the left. It's a good ball from Selvaraj. Has Erez? Yes! It's 1-0. It's an excellently taken goal. Very well taken from Yuri Erez, and with that goal now, he is the top scorer with 21 goals. But with Goran Palic, of course, playing in this match as well, he'll fancy his chances of a goal or two tonight as well. But it's 1-0 to the SAF. In the 18th minute of play, as we see a good through ball being played by Selvaraj to Yuri Erez, and Abdul Malik coming out to narrow the angle, committed himself into the dive, and Yuri Erez just waiting his chance and just putting the ball over Abdul Malik for 1-0 at the Toa Payoh Stadium. But that should make the match all the more interesting, because Balestier will have to come back now. They'll have to attack the SAF.
No real surprise, SAF have started very brightly here, and they've just prized the defence open. Great ball through from Selvaraj, and I would blame Abdul Malik for committing himself a bit early there.
Goran Palic, who hasn't scored in the last 3 games. Of course, he missed the last one against Tiong Bahru on Tuesday. But his run before that was exceptional, scoring in every match from the start in the Pioneer Series, as we see Kraljevic now trying to conjure up something on the left. This is Goran Palic taking a shot, and Harry Swap getting in the way, fortunately, and Effendi Sabtu finally diving over the ball to make sure that The ball remains with the SAF, but Goran Palic fancying his chances surely on that occasion for 1-1.
Very well worked by Marko Kraljevic in the corner there, and a great ball pulled across, and Goran Palic, the ball did bobble a little bit and he didn't get a great strike on it.
This is Richard Bok receiving the ball from Effendi Sabtu, quite unintentionally too. Iveco Ragus, Stephen Chan, who's an exciting defender who likes to lend support to the attack at any opportunity. That's gone out for the goal kick to Balestier, which Abdul Malik wants to take very quickly, as we look at Yuri Eresh, who's just put the SCF 1-0 up. Seems to be limping slightly, so hopefully it's not something that will deter him from providing the entertainment that he's so capable of providing. That is a corner now to Balestier, which Abdul Wafi will trot up to take for the Tigers. As we look at Kraljevic, moving into the center of the area to take up his position for the corner. Well, the Balestier fans really getting behind the team now. They're hitting their drums and they're chanting loudly as Nathaniel Napla challenges together with Goran Palic and Esad Sedic. What's the decision of the referee? It's a goal kick. And that will give a chance to the SAF to just gather their senses as we look at an SAF player who's gone down. I think it's Davor Mioch. So some attention will be given to Mioch as we look at Lieutenant Colonel Chris Chan doing his bit from the bench. Must be a very pleased man at the moment with his team leading on the night and of course leading the table.
I think he's also slightly a worried man because the man he was beckoning to there was not the fella on the floor, Davor Mioch, but Yuri Eresh, who's definitely limping around, holding his groin a little bit, and that will be a major concern if their man in form should be injured out. They'll have a lot of problems. There's Yuri Eresh. He's moving a little bit easier. I think it's the groin on the left-hand side he's been favouring a little. Showed a nice turn of pace to get the goal and dinked the ball over well over Abdul Malik. But he seems to be moving reasonably comfortably now. They offered him the spray, but spray on the groin is A, painful, and B, not very useful.
Good control from Iveco Ragus. Palic back to Sivakumar as Balestier regained possession, but Sivakumar has given it back to the SAF. And Harry Swap will pick up on the loose ball, plays it to Iveco Ragus immediately. Obviously everything stems from Ragus and Krayan in midfield. This is Mioch now. Good ball down the line to Imran Mohammed. Imran, who has a fair bit of speed down the flank. This is Ragus. Good ball from him to Stephen Chan. The SAF move up very well. Good formation. Richard Bok being brought down by Abdul Wafi. Slightly late challenge from Abdul Wafi, but nothing serious. The referee just has one or two words with him. As we have another SAF player down. Well, the scorers at the Tampines Stadium, Marco Antonio for Tampines Rovers and Zulkarnain Zainal putting Geylang into the lead. But it's 1-1 there at the moment. So it's the magic spray once again.
Bit of a worry seeing Richard Bok down injured because it was only a few years ago that he had a very nasty motorbike accident and had a badly broken leg, and there may be a weakness that has lingered on there. Good to see Richard up and about now.
Willem Krayan then will prepare to take the free kick as we look at the four-man Balestier wall, which comprises Palic, Kraljevic, Abdul Wafi and Zulkifli Karayoho. Ludwig Boguchanin was very alert. The free kick was being taken while the referee was still trying to get the wall further back. Stephen Chan, Sivakumar, important interception from Nathaniel Napla. In fact, he stuck his foot out. This is Hazali Nasaron just making sure by putting the ball out to touch. Ivica Ragus. Stephen Chan. Mioch. Back to Ragus. Good one-touch play from the SAF. This is Veli McRyan now. Zulkifli Karayoho quickly on him. Stephen Chan will have to scamper to keep that one in. Fails to do so, so it's going to be a throw-in to Balestier, which will be taken by Hazali Nasiron. Veli McRyan on your screens wearing number 10, so instrumental in midfield for the Warriors. That's a good ball out to Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi with a lot of space and time now. He's going to bring it to the byline and cross it. Well, it was a reasonably good cross. Marko Koljevic doesn't think so though, because he's remonstrating at Abdul Wafi. Could have been better for sure, but Zulkifli Karayoho crosses in, and Effendi Sabtu is there first to the ball against Esad Sedic. Zulkifli Jumadi for the SAF. Playing a bad ball, easily picked up by Manap Hamad, chested down nicely by Manap. Manap with a good ball down to the right again for Abdul Wafi. Another chance for him to perhaps perfect the cross. Plays it short to Koljevic instead. Koljevic will want to turn his man. Plays the ball back to Abdul Wafi. Esad Sedic with the header. And Harry Swap with the headed clearance for the SAF in the end. But the SAF certainly under some pressure at the moment from the Balestier Central Tigers. Zulkifli Karayoho keeping the ball in, but unfortunately not keeping possession. Ivica Ragus, brilliant play from Ragus. He's got such long strides and such good control. Good ball to Yuri Erej. Erej being watched by Manap Hamad. Manap Hamad sticking to his task, just sticking the right foot out and dispossessing Erej. This is Siva Kumar being dispossessed in return by Yuri Erej. And that would be a throw into... Well, it looks like Yuri Erej is signaling to the bench that he won't be able to continue. And trying to keep the ball in there might have caused the final damage. Hopefully not. He's come back onto the field of play, but he's certainly in a fair bit of pain, Yuri Erej.
He's quite clearly favouring that the left leg there. And he signalled to the bench that he wanted to come off, and really keeping an injured man on is a bit of a mistake.
Harvey Swap for the SAF. To Richard Bock. Selvaraj is making a run forward. Richard Bock has seen him, uses him now. But again, Nathaniel Napla is there with the challenge. So Richard Bock with the throw-in then for the Warriors. Doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to. Veli McRyan is available. He uses V. Selvaraj instead. Selvaraj gets past Nathaniel Napla, but then bumps into Lyudmil Boguchanin, who gets up immediately and plays a good ball down the right for Marko Koljevic. Stephen Chan, who has good speed, but Koljevic manages to retain possession for Balestier. He's got Goran Palic now, if he wants to use him. Goes into the center instead with Zulkifli Karayoho. Zulkifli towards Esad Sedic. Sedic laying the ball off for Zulkifli Karayoho. Is still bubbling unkindly now and dangerously for the SAF. Finally is cleared into touch for the throw into Balestier. But Balestier beginning to look fairly dangerous when they move forward as well now. Abdul Wafi back to Nathaniel Napla. Napla with the early cross intended for Sedic. But it's Mioch with a good header. It's Azali Nasiron who will be unable to keep that ball in, so it's going to be a Warriors throw in far side.
Well, a nice little spell there from Balestier. They showed a little bit more composure in front of the box and played the ball around and opened up the defence rather well. I think they're getting a lot of joy down the right flank, where Richard Bock's being pressed into left-back position for SAF. Doesn't look entirely comfortable with his positional sense.
Koljevic. Sedic is asking for the ball, but he's very tightly marked. Sedic with the ball finally trying to return it to Koljevic. Plays it now to Zulkifli Karayoho, who passes the ball to Nathaniel Napla. Napla, good turn from him, good change in direction, good determination as well, as we see Napla still in possession for Balestier. Takes a shot, oh, it's an excellent shot. And Effendi Sabtu, who certainly didn't see much of that. Brilliant shot from this man, Nathaniel Napla. Effendi Sabtu got down very late, managed to keep the ball out. And he'll probably be asking himself now, as we see from the slow motion replay, Nathaniel Napla, who was allowed too much time on the ball, and allowed time to take the shot as well. And Effendi Sabtu, with so many players in front of him, finally just getting down and stretching out the arm to put the ball out for the corner. But a good attack from Balestier, good attempt at goal, which so easily could have made it 1-1, but it's still 1-0 to the SAF.
I would have thought that strike from Nathaniel Napler was about the hardest shot we've seen in both halves of the season. Tremendous strike from a good 30 yards, and actually Effendi Sabtu did well to keep it out at all. A lot of backspin on it after he collected it, and just perhaps deserved that little bit of luck where he scrambled it away.
Effendi Sabtu was a bundle of nerves in the match we covered last Saturday at the Jurong Stadium against Woodlands Wellington, SAF versus Woodlands. But he'll be happy to have made that save. Finally, the corner comes in, but it's cleared only as far as Azali Nasiran. Azali towards Kraljevic. Esad Sedic is challenging. Finally, it's Velima Krajan, just happy to get the ball away. This is Krajan now. He's got Ivica Ragus to his left, but he switches direction and uses Selvaraj instead. Selvaraj knows Imran Mohammed is down the right, and he goes for Erej, the direct route, unfortunately too direct, at Abdul Malik. Abdul Malik, quick throw out to Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi down the line for Kraljevic, who seems to be everywhere at the moment, covering every blade of grass possible. Davor Mioc, good cutout, good ball to Ivica Ragus. Ragus with the forward run as usual. He's got Selvaraj and he's got Yuri Erej. Takes a shot himself. Abdul Malik with the save. The follow-up by V. Selvaraj. It's 2-0 to the SAF in the 31st minute of play. It was a good save by Abdul Malik, but he wasn't able to hold on to the ball. A good strike by Ivica Ragus started it all. Good run from him, and he decided to go for the shot himself when he could have so easily used Selvaraj to his right and Yuri Erej to his left. These fans are ecstatic as the travelling support see their team take a 2-0 lead. This is the slow motion replay. Ivica Ragus, good save, but I feel that perhaps Abdul Malik could have held on to the ball. And V. Selvaraj ever so quick with the follow-up. It's 2-0. V. Selvaraj keeping up his run of goals, Jamie.
Yeah, and that's a real striker's goal. They're the sort of goals that give you 30-odd goals a season, because he's just got to be in the right place at the right time. Empty net, just tap it in. But you've got to be there, and that's an instinct, and Selvaraj shows that he has that instinct. An excellent goal. Yuri Erej did well to take defenders away. A good strike, and I agree with you, Gareth, that Abdul Malik's either got to hang on to that one or push it wide of the post. There's no point just parrying it from that in that sort of position.
Perhaps he wasn't so comfortable in holding on to it because of the wet ball, but he should have done much better in parrying it further or out for the corner. He failed to do either, and it's a 2-0 scoreline now for the away team, in favour of the away team. Although Polic has a shot now, Effendi Sabtu dives, whole sea of players in front of him. Abdul Wafi, we want to keep the pressure on for Balestier. He's brought down, the referee says play on. V. Selvaraj getting away with the challenge. As the challenge by Siva Kumar now is going to be picked up easily by the referee right on the spot. Siva Kumar will be booked because he was spoken to earlier on by Mr. Santhan. So Mr. Santhan will now certainly have no choice but to give the yellow card to A. Siva Kumar. First player to go into the referee's book tonight.
Balestier perhaps feeling things aren't going their way. Siva Kumar clearly deserving the booking there for the bad foul from behind. I actually thought Selvaraj probably did commit the foul in the box just prior to that. It would have been a bit harsh to give the penalty because there was no danger, but I thought it was a foul, and on another day Balestier could well have found themselves with a penalty. All they've ended up with is for a booking for one of their players.
Azali Nasiran then to move forward once again for Balestier. Polic having to come deep to receive the ball. Good ball from Polic to Siva Kumar, who's made a good run down the left for Balestier. He's been cut off now. Oh, but it's still Siva Kumar! Oh, brilliant goal! Hey, Siva Kumar! Getting his name onto the score sheet. The Balestier fans in front of us are ecstatic. And we do have a match now, Jamie. It's 2-1 still in favor of the SAF Warriors. But Balestier, after not being able to get the referee's decision from the foul by Selvaraj earlier on in the box, come back almost immediately with the reply. Siva Kumar being allowed. It looked like Davor Mioc had cut him off initially, but he stuck to his task, and with the right foot, just putting it over Effendi Sabtu in goal for the SAF. So it's 2-1 still to the SAF, but we do have quite a match now.
Extraordinary goal. That was really right out of the Sundramurti book. Cut inside beautifully, picked his spot, and Effendi Sabtu could only help the ball on into the net. And as you so rightly say, we've really got a match on our hands now.
Willem Kraaijen. Ragus. Being fouled. Kraljevic protests. The referee will wave him away immediately. Siva Kumar has to be careful. He's just got a goal, but he, before scoring the goal, got a yellow card as well. So he's made a name for himself in more ways than one tonight. Kraljevic. He's got Polic moving forward. He's made the diagonal run now. Polic receiving the ball from Kraljevic. Finally, back to Kraljevic. Kraljevic should fancy his chances now, but he's been pushed wide. But it's Abdul Wafi to pick up on the loose ball. Abdul Wafi has Stephen Chan in front of him. The cross way out to Azali Nasseron. Certainly not intended. This is Zulkifli Karayoho. Zulkifli, who has quite a shot. Holding on to the ball, showing too much of it to Ivica Ragus. Manap Hamad, not a very good pass towards Azali Nasseron. Azali completely mistiming the jump. But it's Balestier back in possession. Manap Hamad back to Liutprand Bogochanin. The SAF, who went 2-0 up, surely must have thought that the match was going to be theirs. But anyone will tell you that Balestier are such a capable team, especially on the breakaways. Ivica Ragus. Salvaraj, Eresh, is this number 3? Well, Abdul Malik just managing to get his body in the way, and then finally just jumping over the ball to make sure that it wasn't going anywhere else. But Yuri Eresh, who's still limping, and certainly he'll be waiting for half-time to get some attention in the dressing rooms. Doesn't want to go off in a match like this, nobody would. Yuri Eresh grimacing in pain as Abdul Wafi passes the ball now to Kraljevic. Good cross from Kraljevic. Esad Sedic is too high for Sedic, but it will fall nicely to Azali Nasseron, who was supporting very nicely. Zulkifli Karayoho on his left foot. Azali Nasseron out to Abdul Wafi. This is good play from Balestier. They're using Abdul Wafi a lot. Good low drive from Abdul Wafi, and nobody was able to get a touch on the ball. But it's still Azali Nasseron and Balestier piling on the pressure now on the Warriors. Zulkifli Karayoho getting the corner from the deflection. So good sustained pressure by Balestier on the SAF, and the crowd in the stadium certainly now getting very, very noisy.
They're having a great spell at the moment, Balestier, and they'd love to get the equaliser before half-time, just while the momentum is with them, and they've created an awful lot of problems on both flanks now.
So the corner comes in from Zulkifli Karayoho. Zulkifli once again, but I'm sure he's not going to get to that one. Indeed, it's Willem Kraaijen. Good clearance, but everybody's back defending for the SAF, so it'll fall to Siva Kumar, who passes the ball to Bogochanin. Bogochanin out to Manap Hamad. Manap to Abdul Wafi. Kraljevic. Kraljevic still on the ball, ever so dangerous when he's in possession. It's too long, unfortunately, the cross. And it's picked up by the SAF and Zulkifli Jumadi. Ivica Ragus beating his man, on that occasion Siva Kumar. And it's still Ragus, he's got Yuri Eresh. But Yuri Eresh is not as mobile as he was earlier. And it's going to be Bogochanin who will go into the referee's book for sure. The referee immediately calling him over and reaching into his pocket. So that's the second yellow card of the match. And both the yellow cards going Balestier's way, unfortunately.
Can't really understand why Manap Hamad was arguing about that. Bogochanin just stood his ground and body checked Kraaijen as he was in full flight, and had to expect a booking for that one.
So it's a free kick for the SAF, which Willem Kraaijen undoubtedly will trot over to take for them. Yuri Eresh and Salvaraj are in the box. Just slightly outside is Richard Bach. Eresh trying to get his head to the ball and mistiming the jump, so the ball goes way out for the goal kick to Balestier.
Actually a good chance, that one. Yuri Eresh managed to get away from Manap Hamat and was all on his own. He managed to be able to get a bit of a jump on. Free header on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Abdul Malik then with the goal kick for Balestier. Ryan being beaten by Abdul Wafi. Kraljevic beating Richard Bock nicely. It's still Kraljevic. And just holding on to the ball a little too long perhaps. This is Zulkifli Jamadi for the Warriors. Raguz receiving the pass from Zulkifli, returning it now. In fact, it's Imran Mohammed in possession for the Warriors now, but he's given possession back to Balestier and Abdul Malik. Abdul Malik with the quick throw to Zulkifli Karayoho. Manap Hamat. A lot of movement forward for Balestier. Goran Polic, who has been fairly quiet by his own standards, but he's in possession now for the Tigers. Plays a good low ball towards Izzat Sedic, but there are too many SCF players there, and finally it's Visal Varaj playing the ball out to Stephen Chan. Stephen Chan will just hold on and finally pass the ball to Ivica Raguz to allow players to move forward for the Warriors. Raguz being dispossessed, but it's Yuri Erej, and the referee pulls him up for handball, I think it was. So it's a free kick to Balestier.
And you've got to say, Gareth, it's an absolutely fascinating contest at the moment. We've got the experienced Balestier forwards playing against a fairly raw SAF defence, marshalled by Davo Miocic. And the experienced players are beginning to find where the gaps are and where there's a vulnerability. And chances are coming their way. I wouldn't think this game's over by any stretch of the imagination.
Bill McCryan being challenged. That was a good challenge by Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi making a run down the right. Nathaniel Napla should use him eventually, but he passes the ball to Kraljevic instead. Kraljevic onto his left foot, crossing for Izzat Sedic. Sedic still in possession. Oh, unfortunately getting under the ball and putting it over for the goal kick. But that was good possession football from this man in particular, Izzat Sedic, shielding the ball nicely. His final touch letting him down, and the ball going out for the goal kick. You can see here the control with the head, trying to get it back to Kraljevic, but it didn't quite. He didn't quite pull it off, and finally deciding that he has to take the shot on his own and putting it over the crossbar.
Good use of the body there. They're big lads, these Croatians up front, and playing against much smaller local players. And Sedic just leaning into his man there. Perhaps could have let the ball fall even further.
Selvaraj being challenged from behind by Boguchanin. Boguchanin's got to be careful because he's also been booked just a while ago. Two very important players in the Balestier side, very hard tacklers, Boguchanin and Siva Kumar. You've got to watch their step as the SCF prepare to take the free kick with Velima Krain and Ivica Raguz over the ball. Both of them have a fairly good shot from the dead ball situation. It's Velima Krain taking the shot, and Abdul Malik, well, the ball rebounding off his chest, hitting his face, but he was able to hold on to the ball, and fortunately so too, as we look at the slow motion replay, the free kick by Velima Krain. It was a good shot, good strike, it went cleanly, no deflection, and Abdul Malik will be very thankful to be able to hold on to that one, with Yuri Erej looming very near. Harry Swap, good clearance from him with the head, but only as far as Azali Nasiron. Azali with the up and under, long hanging ball towards Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi will take the throw in for the Tigers. He's got nobody to play the ball to at the moment. Kraljevic and Nathaniel Napla make themselves available, but the marking is so very tight at the moment. Good touch by Polic to Kraljevic. It's a deflection by the SCF captain, Harry Swap, deflecting the ball into his own goal, and it's 2-2 as we approach halftime. We're into the 44th minute now, and it's all square at the Toa Payoh Stadium between Balestier Central and the SAF. The goal is credited to Marko Kraljevic, but it could also be interpreted as an own goal as we look at the slow motion replay. The strike by Kraljevic, it hit the captain, Harry Swap, and that should go down as an own goal, Jamie.
I think in Italian soccer that would be classed as an own goal. I think in British soccer they might call that Kraljevic goal. But either way, it was a lovely touch from Goran Paulic, and it was a goal that was on its way, and now they've let themselves down by back passing to the goalkeeper, who's then picked it up. And really, the SAF are at 6s and 7s just at present.
Mr. Santon with a smile on his face, awarding the free kick to Balestier. They've come back very well indeed in this match. 2-0 down, and then a quick reply from Sivakuma, and now Harry Swap with the own goal, making it all square. One of the most interesting and most entertaining games we've seen in the league for sure this season. And Balestier have an excellent opportunity now to go into the lead just before half-time. We are into the final minute of normal time, with the referee probably just adding on a minute or so for some minor stoppages that we've had. Is Goran Paulic and Esad Sedic over the ball for Balestier. And Goran Paulic, who strikes a sweet shot, and who's one of those players who can keep the ball low, should fancy his chances here. So finally it's Paulic, it's Esad Sedic with the follow-up. Paulic still, the ball is still not cleared. The SAF living very dangerously. Hazali Nasran to take a shot from way out, which was the wise thing to do, because there were one or two players who were still offside. And finally the ball sensibly being played all the way back to Abdul Malik. Nathaniel Napla to Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi to Kraljevic. Kraljevic turning his man, causing some problems for Richard Bock at the moment. And Richard Bock just sticking to his task of doing some defending on the ground for the SAF.
And there's no doubt about it, Balestier won't want the half-time whistle to go. There's 45 minutes gone, but at the moment it's all them, and they must feel that if they can just play for a few more minutes, a third goal could well be coming their way.
We've had half a minute of time added on. The corner comes in. It's Sedic who climbs, and the ball goes over for the goal kick.
I think one of the great things with soccer is the way the thing can just change direction. You think back to, for example, Singapore when they were 2-0 up against Myanmar in the SEA Games a couple of years ago. But here we had SAF, top of the league, 2-0 up, cruising comfortably. And suddenly there's a surprise goal by Balestier. They start putting some pressure on, and now there's only one team in it at the moment. SAF can't get out of their half.
So Mr. Santan calls the half-time proceedings to a halt. It's been a real all first half for sure, with the SAF taking a 2-0 lead. Yuri Erish scoring in the 17th minute. V. Selvaraj putting them further ahead in the 30th. And then A. Sivakuma replying 3 minutes later to make it 2-1. And then just 2 minutes before half-time, Harry Swap deflecting into his own goal for 2-all at half-time here at the Toa Payoh Stadium. Toa Payoh Stadium. For those of you who have just tuned into this live telecast on Premier 12 of the match between Balestier Central and the SAF Warriors, I just want to tell you that you've missed a cracker of a first half. 4 goals in all. 2-0 it was to the SAF Warriors. Yuri Erish scoring in the 17th minute. V. Selvaraj putting them further ahead in the 30th. And then A. Sivakuma replying 3 minutes later to make it 2-1. And just 2 minutes before half-time, it's all square with Harry Swap deflecting into his own goal for the current scoreline here at the Toa Payoh Stadium. Jamie Reeves, your comments on the first half?
Well, I think that's the most entertaining half of football we've seen in the S-League so far. I thought it was terrific. The game has swung in both directions. SAF were very much in control. They got the first goal beautifully. The second goal came nicely. Everything was going their way. Then Balestier retrieved the situation with a goal out of nothing from Sivakuma, but then suddenly piled on the pressure towards the end of the half, and it was no great surprise to see them get the equaliser. I'm sure that Balestier are very keen to get out and get going in the second half, and I should think that we've got an entertaining half in front of us on a good pitch in front of a good crowd.
We were talking at half-time, Jamie, about Kraljevic exploiting the weakness down the left side in defence for the SAF, and in particular Richard Bock.
Richard Bock is a forward. Certainly when I used to play with him, he used to play up front or an attacking midfielder. He's been pressed into action as a sort of wing-back in left-back position. Kraljevic keeps going into that position in the pitch, and Richard's not the best defender in the world, and Kraljevic is causing a lot of problems down that flank.
So the referee about to get us underway for the second half. Balestier attacking the goal to our left now in the all-red strip. And certainly, whatever happens, we've already had quite an entertaining match, but certainly the second half should be much better than the first, with both teams going all out for the victory. Balestier in particular, like I mentioned earlier, will want to close in on the SAF. If they win tonight, they'll be just 1 point behind the SAF. And it is a yellow card to the number 3, Stephen Chan. So the SAF getting their first booking. 2 bookings for Balestier in the first half, Boguchanin and Sivakumar. So now this young man, Stephen Chan, will have to watch his step as well, as Manap Hamad lines himself up to take the free kick for Balestier. Aimed again towards Sedic, and Kraljevic complains that he was expecting the ball back across goal from Sedic, which didn't come, and it's gone out for the goal kick instead.
I agree with Marco there. I was amazed. Sedic did ever so well, got himself free at the far post. Good ball in from Manap Hamad, and if he knocked it back across goal, Kraljevic could well have got the third goal for them. Just the sort of pressure that Balestier want to apply early in the second half.
So the goal kick from the skipper, Harry Swap, towards Imran Mohammed. The throw in, or it's the free kick. So Ivica Ragus to take the free kick then for the SAF. Yuri Erej is still on the field, so obviously he's received some treatment at half-time in the dressing room. And the SAF will be glad to keep him on field. Davo Mioc turning in Sivakumar well, playing a good ball to Ivica Ragus. Ragus to Krayan, Krayan back to Ragus. Good one-touch play from the SAF once again. Ragus is brought down by Sivakumar. The referee says play on. Good challenge. Interpreted by the referee is Boguchanin, who moves forward now for Balestier. To Kraljevic. Kraljevic again will want to exploit the so-called weakness in the left side. Kraljevic still, and he's just overrun the ball, but he's earned a corner nonetheless for Balestier. So Balestier piling on the pressure and beginning the second half the way they ended the first.
Just overran it there after doing the hard part and getting past his 2 defenders. He was bearing in on goal, and really he missed the opportunity. He should have driven the ball across when he had the chance. Once again, it's the same sort of danger position though. Down that right flank, Balestier doing awfully well.
So it'll be Abdul Wafi then to take the corner for Balestier. Aimed towards the big men, polished climbs, he doesn't get to the ball. Nathaniel Napla is there as well. It falls back kindly for Abdul Wafi, who gets a chance to cross the ball in low this time. Mistimed, or miskicked the ball rather, and cut out by Velima Krayan. Yuri Erej to Stephen Chan. Stephen Chan being cut off in return. And the SAF just struggling at the moment to get the ball out of their own half. Finally, it's a free kick for them for the foul on Krayan. Quickly taken by Richard Bock to Krayan. Krayan to Mioc. Mioc has Imran Mohammed to his right if he wants to use him. Uses him now. This is Imran, back to Mioc. Mioc sidestepping Paulic well. Into Yuri Erej, or Ivica Ragus, in fact. Ragus with one of his runs once again. Passing the ball now to Krayan. Zulkifli Jumadi. And that's just a little too long for Imran Mohammed from Zulkifli, so it's gone out for the throw-in which Hazali Nasiron will take for the Tigers. Boguchanin. The thing about Balestier is that they didn't crumble even when they were down 2-0. Sivakumar's quick reply, of course, helped them a lot, but they've come back very nicely, and the game is nicely poised now for an exciting end in the second half. Hazali Nasiron with the throw-in for Balestier to Goran Paulic. Polic, who has not had much possession and not been involved in the match as he normally is. Zulkifli Karayo with a header on towards Sivakuma. Sivakuma to Abdul Wafi. Good skill, good control by Abdul Wafi to get the ball to Zulkifli Karayo once again. Zulkifli out to Kraljevic. Balestier prepared to just depend on the slow build-up when they are unable to counter-attack, which is one of the strengths of the team. Raguz with Perez with a nice layoff to Brian. Brian will fancy his chances of a shot. He delayed it too long, and finally no venom in the shot, and easily fielded by Abdul Malik and goal for Balestier. Hazali Nasiron to Zulkifli Karayo. Zulkifli looks up, passes the ball to Nathaniel Napla. Good run by Abdul Wafi once again, and surprisingly the SAF are leaving a lot of gaps down the left side in defense. And it's Sivakuma who tried to take the shot. Esad Sedic was there as well, but it's Imran Mohammed now, but being dispossessed easily by Hazali Nasiron. Hazali, who's done a good job in defense for Balestier in this match, and in other matches as well, I must add. Sivakuma will let that one roll out for the throw-in. Kraljevic makes himself available once again. Oh, good cross from Kraljevic towards Sedic. But Davo Mioch was alert to what was happening, and he puts the ball out for the corner now to Balestier. So continued pressure from the Tigers on the Warriors as they prepare to take yet another corner, far side, with Abdul Wafi. Abdul Wafi, who's relishing his chance down the right side. He's been given a lot of time and space on too many an occasion, perhaps. As he takes the corner now, aimed towards Polic. Just a little too high for Polic. Zulkifli Karayo miscuing. And finally, it's the up and under clearance, which Boguchanin deals with comfortably for Balestier. For Abdul Malik will have to come out of his area. And good controlled play by Balestier coming out of defense. Boguchanin making room to move to the left now to pick up that pass from Manap Hamad. And a good ball by Boguchanin to Sivakuma. Sivakuma, who loves to lend support to the attack. It's a low cross, two shot for Kraljevic, easily picked up by Hairi Swap. Hairi Swap to Imran Mohammed, who plays the ball now to Raguz. Raguz to Krayan. And finally it's Yuri Erej who gets the pass from Krayan. And seems to be none the worse for the injury he picked up in the first half. Seems to be running quite well. Imran Mohammed being cut off easily by Hazali Nasiron. Good reading of the game there by Hazali. He knew what was coming on, and he made sure he got first to the ball.
There's certainly a real hunger about Balestier. In the defence, they're looking a lot sharper than they were in the first 30 minutes of the game, and they're looking a lot more purposeful when they get hold of the ball. Much will rely on the two Croatians in midfield to take a control of it for SAF if they're going to get something out of this match.
This is Raguz getting the ball now to Yuri Erej. And Krayan, or Davo Mioch, lending support now, taking the shot, being blocked. Imran Mohammed still in possession for the SAF. The cross comes in. Abdul Malik will have to get to that, and he does quite comfortably too. It's an early ball out by Abdul Malik, too early. Only Esad Sedic was up for Balestier. He might have held on to that ball instead. Raguz being brought down by Sivakuma. Sivakuma not one to pull out of the challenges. Mioch to Imran Mohammed as we look at Sivakuma now. This is Mioch once again. Mioch being challenged by Zulkifli Karayo, and Zulkifli is going to be called to the referee. And my co-commentator Jamie Reeves grimaces because I don't think anybody thinks that's a bookable offence. Don't know whether the referee is going to reach into his pocket. I don't think he will.
Zulkifli explaining that he jumped there. It looked to me like he made no attempt to play the ball. He's explaining to the referee that he was just trying to jump out the way, but it looked as if he kind of jumped into his man, but instead. He's still upset about it, but it's one of those things. I think the action is being interpreted differently by different people.
But it's no booking. which is a good decision by the referee, who has had a fair game.
It's been a fair game for him to referee as well. It's been very fast and furious, but just commitment, not too many bad fouls, and thoroughly entertaining stuff.
Ragus then with the free kick to Yuri Eresh. Eresh being watched so closely by Manap Hamad. He's got Hazali Nasseron to get past now, and Hazali putting the ball out to touch for the throw-in to the Warriors. It's Imran Mohammed who will take the throw-in as we look at Hazali, who's had a good game. Imran has nobody available. Finally, Selvaraj makes himself available for the pass from the throw-in. Ragus against Sivakumar. Good play from Ragus. Good cross from him too. Oh, that's a simple goal. Easily headed in by Yuri Erej. He's got goal number 22. That puts him 2 ahead of Goran Palic. It's now 3-2 at the Toa Payoh Stadium. And we are into the 55th minute of play. And the SCF have taken the lead yet again. Jamie.
Absolutely brilliant from Ragus there. Nowhere to go on the line. Sivakumar very close to him. Nowhere to go at all, but he just dummied again. Here he goes. When he gets the chance to cross, pinpoint accuracy. Yuri Eresh gets up there. Thank you very much. As easy a goal as he'll get in front of Abdul Malik. Touched that one away beautifully. Bad groin or no bad groin, you can knock those in.
So the game will resume with the free kick to the SAF to be taken by Hyri Swap. Hyri, who is a player very much in the mold of Rosali Saad, has a very similar style. This is Yuri Eresh. Thought of backheeling the ball there to Selvaraj, takes the shot instead, and it comes out, it comes off the outside of his left foot and spins out for the goal kick to Ballester.
But despite limping away after that one, this is a man who's banging form in front of goal. Every opportunity he's going to take a shot, and it won't worry him at all that that one spun off the outside of his foot, because he's already got 2 and he's the top scorer in the league. So he'll keep cracking, and of course he'll keep getting plenty of goals that way.
Well, he'll be perhaps a little worried about keeping his momentum up. The league takes a break of slightly under 4 weeks for the Tiger Cup. It resumes on the 17th of September, and it'll be interesting to see if Yuri Eresh can continue to score when the league resumes then. But he's a class player as we look at another one on the ball for Ballester, Nathaniel Napla. Napla taking a shot on his own. It's now fallen to Sedic. Sedic heads the ball down for Sivakumar, and Sivakumar unable to keep it down, putting it over the crossbar for the goal kick. But Sivakumar has been supporting the attack well whenever he's had the opportunity for Ballester.
He's certainly a lively player. He's ever so mobile, very committed, throws himself in for some rather dodgy challenges, but he's certainly been very active tonight and done quite well down the left flank.
Richard Bock, in the meanwhile, returns to the field of play after being attended to by his physio. That's Vincent in the red polo shirt next to Lieutenant Colonel Chan. Abdul Wafi to Sedic, that's too high for him. And Ballester, who were using the slow, patient build-up a lot in the first half, which paid dividends for them, allowing them to come back and pull level, are now relying once again on the long ball, which doesn't seem to be working. Not now, anyway. Double Mioch. Ragus is asking for the ball, making himself available, but he goes forward towards Selvaraj instead. And Manap Hamad goes down in a tumble. The free kick quickly taken by Ballester. Sivakumar forward towards Kraljevic, but it's cut out nicely by the SAF. Ivica Ragus unable to hold on to the ball. It's Kraljevic now in possession for Ballester. They look ever so dangerous again whenever he's in possession. Zulkifli, Karayoho. Zulkifli, who has found his form again and has had a recall to the national squad, quite rightly too. As we look at Ragus, passing the ball now to Selvaraj. And off camera, there is a player who is down as we look at a couple of substitutes who will be coming on. But it's Yuri Eresh who has gone down in the Ballester penalty area once again. So obviously the injury that he picked up in the first half is still giving him some problems. He's been able to get them ahead again with the third goal. But he's still in a fair bit of pain, and we might see the end of Yuri Erez here in this match anyway.
Yes, as that last ball was played into the box, and he turned very quickly with Manap Hamat and just obviously overstretched the groin. We can see he's put cycle shorts on at half-time, try to keep the groin warm, but these injuries don't go away just like that. And I think all that's going to happen if he were to stay on is he would do more damage. Much more sensible to make the substitution.
So Esad Sedic is replaced by Abdullah Noor for Balestier. So Said Salim comes on for Yuri Erez for the SAF, and Esad Sedic is replaced by Abdullah Noor for Balestier. So two substitutions being made at the same time for both teams.
I thought the substitution of Esad Sedic might be coming. He doesn't look 100% fit himself. He's been very spasmodic in the game tonight, and maybe bringing on goal scoring Abdullah Noor might give them the chance of getting the equaliser.
Manap Hamat back to Boguchanin. Boguchanin out to Abdul Wafi. Goran Palic. Now that Yuri Erez has gone off, Palic will relish the opportunity to try and pull level for the top scorers listings. He's now trailing Yuri Erez by 2 goals. Good pass from Napla out to Zulkifli Karayoho. Zulkifli is cut off immediately by V. Selvaraj, but it's still Zulkifli on the ball for Balestier. Tries to get the ball by the chip, or via the chip, past Selvaraj. Fails to do so. It's Hazali Nasseron instead for Balestier. Good cross from him. Palic comes in. The ball is still in the area. Koljevic challenges, and finally it's Davo Mioc with the clearance. Just happy to get the ball out of his own half, but only as far as Boguchanin, almost at the halfway line. That's indicative of the kind of pressure that Balestier are piling on at the moment on the SAF. Everybody's forward for them, and everybody's back for the SAF, defending. But Zulkifli Karayoho fails to get past Ivica Ragus. Velimir Krayan plays the ball out, and it's now Ivica Ragus once again in possession. He's got V. Selvaraj and Imran Mohammed. Said Salim, who just came on a while ago, has moved into a left-sided position, as we see Imran Mohammed being challenged and dispossessed, but he's got the throw-in from that challenge by Hazali Nasseron. Ragus. Ragus will want to just put a little more pressure on Sivakuma. He's done well, but the cross is put behind goal for the goal kick instead.
But they're wonderful players for SAF, these two boys, Krayan and Ragus, because even when they're under the cosh, as they've been for a lot of the time tonight, whenever they get the ball away to them, they can relieve the pressure. They hold the ball, they're willing to run with the ball, they make good passes, they interplay well, and they just make sure that they take the sting out of the opposition. Excellent professionals.
We're into the last 20 minutes of the game, with the SAF Warriors leading the Balestier Central Tigers by 3 goals to 2. Yuri Erez with 2, V. Selvaraj with 1. Boguchanin to Napla. Napla being dispossessed, he didn't control the ball nicely. This is Said Salim to Selvaraj, and Abdul Malik had to be on top of his game there, using the feet to intercept. Gets a round of applause from his supporters, but Balestier could so easily have gone further behind. Sloppy defending and sloppy control by Nathaniel Napla, who's had a fair game up to now. Abdullah Noor, the substitute, on for Balestier, doing well to keep that ball in. Oh, plays a delightful ball to A. Sivakuma. Sivakuma with a low cross. It's Palic with the shot. It's beaten down. V. Selvaraj picks up on the loose ball in midfield. Passes it now to Ivica Ragus. Ragus forward for Said Salim. And Said Salim, who has gone into a forward position, although he's a midfielder. So obviously the SAF do not want to disturb their current formation too much with the substitution. Koljevic crosses. And Sivakuma just unable to get to that ball Imran Mohammed to double Mioch. Mioch to Raguz. Again, the SAF with a slow, patient build-up, which works so well for them. Oh dear, Abdul Malik has committed himself, and the defending by Balestier was excellent. Ghazali Nasiron was there, Manab Hamad was there as well, but they were caught out for a moment as Abdul Malik came, but there was cover on this occasion, and the score remains the same. Abdul Wafi, return pass to Koljevic. Koljevic again relishing the chance to take on the player down the right side for Balestier, and he's got the throw in, which Abdul Wafi will take.
Fantastic pace to the game. It's been unrelenting. It's end-to-end stuff now. They've been at it for almost an hour and a quarter rather, and yet there's no let-up whatsoever.
Abdul Wafi trying to cross the ball in. He's earned the corner now, so the pressure being piled on by Balestier in search of the equalizer yet again. If they do score, it will be the second time in the match that they have equalized. They've not taken the lead at all in this match, and somebody's in a bit of pain. But the SAF want to get the game on. Harry Swap just rolling his player off the field to get the attention off it, as Abdul Wafi takes the corner now for Balestier. The SAF want to maintain their concentration. College missing out on that cross. Boguchanin will have to make himself first, and he did well. But he placed the ball too far forward, and it goes directly out for the goal kick to the SAF. But Effendi Sabtu in goal, for all the pressure that the Balestier side has been piling on, Effendi Sabtu in goal for the SAF, Jamie, has not had much to do.
No, it's a tremendous pressure, but they don't seem to have created many clear-cut chances, and when they have created the chances, defenders have thrown their bodies in the way. Effendi Sabtu is a little bit eccentric with his goalkeeping, but quite a colourful character. As you say, I don't think he's made a save this half. The defenders have done a good job in front of him, and certainly they tightened up a great deal since half-time.
So another substitution. Tan Kim Leng comes on for Richard Bock. So the SAF with two substitutions now. As we see Balestier with Siva Kumar in possession. Being dispossessed, this is Imran Mohammed. Good ball out to Salvaraj. Salvaraj just taking his eye off the ball and giving possession back to Nathaniel Napla. Napla with a good ball to Zulkifli Karayohu, who plays it back to Manab Hamad. Looking for Koljevic. Effendi Sabtu came. Oh, that's handball. That's handball by Koljevic, and he's not going to be allowed the goal. Effendi Sabtu applauds the linesman far side, who is Mr. Salikin Sakawi. But certainly it was a handball by Koljevic. He challenged the keeper, and we can see from the slow motion replay now, perhaps this will tell us exactly what happened. You can see Koljevic challenging well, and he seemed to have controlled the ball with his hand there. And then here again, he seemed to have used his hand to get the ball away from Effendi Sabtu. Effendi Sabtu immediately putting the hand up and complaining and getting the benefit of the referee's decision. Jamie.
Well, interesting that he didn't get booked for it, because Ivan Kelic has been booked twice for Tiong Bahru for the same offence.
No, perhaps the referee interpreting it as part of the play and not too blatant. So it's Balestier who come away yet again with College playing a poor ball back, but fortunately goes to Ditbo Boguchanin. This is Raguz. Being dispossessed by Nathaniel Napla, and Michael, commentator, certainly feels that he took a dive, and he might know that too from the look on his face. We're looking at the SAF bench with Vincent Subramaniam. These will be tense moments for the SAF bench as we're into the last 13 minutes or so, 12 or 13 minutes of the match, as Stephen Chan plays the ball now to Said Salim. Said Salim has only V. Salvaraj and Imran Mohammed in front, so he does the wise thing by checking and playing the ball back to Velima Krayan. Krayan to Imran Mohammed, who's brought down by Ghazali Nasiron. Well, Balestier will know that they're running out of time now. We're into the last 10 minutes of normal playing time. with perhaps another 1 minute or so to be added on for the 1 or 2 minor stoppages that we've had in the second half. And Koljevic, who you were mentioning earlier, Jamie, has kind of lost his way. Looks very much the same for the Balestier side. And these officials. Well, we have a score coming in from the Tampines Stadium, and well, it's a bit of a surprise because Rafi Ali has put Tampines Rovers into the lead. It's now 2-1 at the Tampines Stadium between Tampines Rovers and Geylang United. Marco Antonio equalizing earlier on for Tampines in the first half. Zulkarnain Zainal giving Geylang the initial lead. Well, that will be a good result. Geylang will have to win if they are to keep track with the leaders. As we look at Napla driving that ball in, and it goes out for the goal kick, sadly. But it was a good drive, and for a moment Effendi Sabtu was or seemed to just unaware of what was happening.
Well, with less than 10 minutes to go of the game, I think Balestier have got nothing to lose. They might as well push this fella Nathaniel Napla forward to see if he can get a goal for them, because if the score stays like this, then Balestier's season's over. Then there'll be 7 points adrift with only 5 games to go, and they're very unlikely to get back into it. So they might as well go for it. They might as well be hung for a sheep as for a lamb.
Koljevic, good ball out to Abdullah Noor. Abdullah Noor, of course, is a super sub, but he's been challenged and the ball came off him, so it's going to be a goal kick. Abdullah Noor, who has done so well when he's come on for Balestier, plays in a super sub role very much these days, and unfortunately unable to do anything on that occasion. Scored a goal when he came on against Tampines Rovers in the first game of the Pioneer Series at the Tampines Stadium in that 3-1 victory that Balestier got over the Rovers. Harry Swab with the goal kick towards Imran Mohammed. Imran with the header on nicely for Said Salim, who's moved to the right side now for the SAF. Said Salim a little short. That's a hospital ball really, but fortunately no injury, although Imran Mohammed gets up limping. Mana Muhammad to Koljevic, who's moved over this side now for Balestier. He's covered probably every blade of grass in this match, Koljevic, as he usually does. Nathaniel Napla receiving the ball from Zulkifli Karayoho. Napla will fancy himself for a shot again, but he's been dispossessed by Ivica Ragus. He was lining himself up for a shot, Nathaniel Napla, but just took his eye off the ball for a second, and that was enough for Ragus to dispossess him. The SAF just trying to keep the ball in the Balestier half. Velima Krayan crossing the ball in, and Abdul Malik had to put that one out for a corner. It seemed to be going out for a moment or two, but it sort of swung in, and Abdul Malik just had to push the ball over. But the referee has gone to the corner flag, and he has given the corner eventually. So Abdul Malik doing well.
Great work from Velimir Krayan there. He's run the clock down by virtually a minute. He's taken the ball out there, held on to it, and managed to force a corner kick. Superb effort.
Said Salim challenging. Got a lot of height to his jump, but unable to connect with the ball. Stephen Chan to Davo Mioch. Mioch out to Ragus. Good ball from Mioch once again. Ragus will try and torment Abdul Wafi. The cross in towards Said Salim. Abdul Malik came. And Abdul Malik, over the last 10-15 minutes or so, has not looked too comfortable in goal for Balestier. He came for that ball, and that should have been his, but he didn't get it.
There's a certain uncertainty in Abdul Malik's play that we didn't see earlier in the match, which won't be helping his defence out at all.
Azali Nasrun down the line to Abdullah Noor. Abdullah into Zulkifli Karayoho. Zulkifli out to Nathaniel Napla. A lot stemming from Napla now. He's taken on a more important role in the second half. And Napla wins the free kick, which Zulkifli Karayoho will want to take quickly, but Abdul Wafi is still down. And the noise in the stadium gets louder as the Balestier fans rally behind their team to try and get them forward in search of the equalizer. It's headed out by Imran Mohammed. Said Salim will pick up on the ball and just hold on to the ball if he knows that's the best thing to do, but he wasn't able to do it. Manap Hamad cutting him off. Good ball from Manap to Kraljevic. Kraljevic battles on, takes the shot. Oh, well, the fans in front of the commentary position up on their feet, thinking that ball had gone in, but it's the side netting instead. Great opportunity for Marko Kraljevic to get the third goal and pull Balestier level, as we see from the slow motion replay here. He's really a battler in perseverance and determination, enabling him to get the shot in finally. Unfortunately, it's the side netting. But for a moment, the SAF fans must have had their hearts in their mouths. It's Zulkifli Jumadi on the ball for the Warriors. They want to take it into the corner or wide and get the crosses in like he's done now towards Said Salim. Siva Kumar had to be sure with the header on that occasion. Again is Boguchanin. Boguchanin out to Azhaluddin. Azhaluddin will try and put down one of his runs down the right. Instead he plays it towards Kraljevic. Kraljevic controlling. Oh, he gets a second bite of the cherry. It's Kraljevic. The Balestier fans urging him on. A chance for 3-0. Oh, well, he plays the ball back now. And it's Azhaluddin Khamis who puts the ball over, but that was an excellent opportunity for Kraljevic to take a shot, but perhaps he felt that he was pushed a little too wide, backheeling the ball, as we can see now from the slow motion replay, just backheeling it to Azhaluddin. He was aware Azhaluddin was behind him, and Azhaluddin getting the shot in, but it's taken a slight deflection, so Balestier have the chance now to pile on more pressure. We're into the final minute of play as the corner comes in. Napla challenges, and the SAF will just boot that ball away now into the Balestier half. Boguchanin will give chase. He wants to take this throw in quickly. And Siva Kumar and Hazali Nasseron have come to receive the ball. They don't want to delay any further. Kraljevic has remained forward. He's in a slightly offside position now. It doesn't matter because Balestier are still in their own half. Siva Kumar will play the long ball surely, but it's too much into the middle and towards Hari Swap, who gets the comfortable header. And these are tense moments surely for both sides, but in particular for the SAF, who are hanging on now to the slender 1-0 lead. It's 3-2 and we're now into time added on. Not much time which the referee will add on surely, as we look at Azhaluddin Khamis. Azhaluddin trying to get past Ivica Ragus. It's Nathaniel Napla. Napla to get the ball in via the cross, but he's got to get past Stephen Chan first. Finally, the cross comes in towards Manap Hamad, who's remained forward. Chipped in towards Goran Palic. Hazali Nasseron onto his right foot, takes the shot, is blocked away by Hari Swap. Nathaniel Napla. These are exciting moments here at the Toa Payoh Stadium in the final stages. Into injury time already. Zulkifli Kadoyo picks up on the ball. He pumps it in towards Kraljevic and Palic once again. It's too high for everybody. And finally it's V. Selvaraj in defense for the SAF. But it's Ivica Ragus now against Litvo Boguchanin. Ragus, who has just run out of steam, and he's brought down. It's going to be a free kick for Balestier.
Well, as football, it's totally deteriorated, but as drama, it's fantastic.
The Warriors, some final comments from you, Jamie Reeves.
Well, a great advert for the league. Selvaraj there, one of the goal scorers. Tremendous performance this evening, exciting end-to-end. Could have gone either way. Just what you want from a football match. Good crowd.